Well, hello, guys. Welcome back. Tonight's topic shall be what to do when your gods behave very, very badly. Don't do what I do, I'll tell you that much. Odin picked a fight, and he fought so dirty and so nasty and so mean. It was something personal between us. And somehow Loki got dragged into this fight, and they used my kryptonite against me, and Freya jumped in the middle. And I'm like, what did I actually do? Why are you all acting like this? You're being petty and mean and cruel. This isn't like you at all. What's the matter with you? And I'm thinking, are trolls real, or are these trolls acting like the gods? Um, I don't know what it was. If it was a test, I failed unless the proper response was to become so enraged that I went into VR and used their art as target practice, which you shouldn't do. And then I got pissed off because, you remember, I'm under the same strain they are in VR 4.5 goddamn days at this point of that boxes going ee, and I couldn't stand it anymore. So the homes are gonna have to go anyways. I knew that, and I just wasn't looking forward to the work. I was putting it off. And out of spite, I took down Loki's temple, and I cleared Odin's temple, and then I took the Oski temple down. I'm not proud of myself, but that's my temper. And then I went into VR game with a bow and arrow, and I just shot the living shit out of stuff for about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half hour. Then I quit, and I'd be like resting, and then I'd come back in and I'd shoot some more stuff. And I was really pissed off with them. And I don't believe in speaking poorly to your gods, but I said at this point, I'm actually ashamed of all of you, and I'm disappointed in you. Because that's how I was raised. There's like the two worst words you can hear. And I said, I don't know what's gotten into you, but you know you're loved. You know I always treat you like you're first. Da da da. All the other gods, of course, have to come in and offer advice. Yeah, well, they're spoiled. That's why your gods act that way, because that you give them everything, and then when they don't behave well, you wonder why. That's why they don't behave well, because the other gods are gonna feel free to share their opinion. And I even, as weird as this sounds, I'm like, Loki's been having me look at all this God stuff. So I'm talking to God, and I swear to the heavens, guys, the response I got was, what would Jesus do? What would I do? I'm like, well, you're all love. If you're honestly all love and you're not love up to a point, you would love them no matter how bad they are. So I thought about that. And I started talking to God, and I was like, "You have to handle this, because at this point, they're all crazy and they're out of my control." I said, "You're not supposed to control gods as a human, but I don't know what's going on with them." And this morning, they just gradually came out of it. I was back in and shooting stuff with the bow, and I had taken all the temples down. I apologized to most of them. Most of them didn't start this fight. In fact, Thor had my back. Thor was my ally. Balder was my ally. Tier of all the gods. I was really surprised when he didn't show up to beat me with something. I'm like, you're on my side. And he's like, yes, they're being unjust. So Tyr and Boulder and Thor had my back, and Freyr showed up this morning like, all right, everybody else is gone. Guess who's here? Freyr's here. Yeah, the awesome god. So Freyr got what Freyr wanted out of all this. And it gradually cleared up. And I don't know if it was a test and I failed, but Odin's acting really smitten with me now. He's like, because last night he was being so mean that we kind of communicate with Pinterest. I know what that sounds like, but I'll be on Pinterest and a pin will come up at the right exact time, because I told one of the other gods, in fact, it was Thor I told, he said, what happened right after the initial fight? I said, you won't believe this, but your father started a healing, basically told me to go fuck myself. And he goes, what? And I swear to the gods, this pin came up about a hot cup of fuck offy. And I'm like, that's your dad. That is your dad. Because there's no Russian spy microphone thing in here to hear me say that and just pop a random pin up. I'm not that damn paranoid. And he was really spiteful and petty and mean, so I did that, and I just got all the anger out last night. And he came up to me this morning, toddles up to me this morning. Remember, we're still not talking to each other. And as far as I'm concerned, I have no gods. I mean, I have gods, but you know what I mean. When are you going to build my temple? What? I'm not worshiping you at this point. You've been an utter toddler. No, out. Now. I want my temple. What's wrong with you lately? Are you 3? Are you the face of Odin no one sees because nobody likes you much? Leave! I want my temple. And then Loki's being real sweet, like he didn't start shit yesterday. Now with Loki, that's totally normal behavior. He'll start shit and then get amnesia and come back and be like, "Hi, how you?" And I said, "I don't know what the hell got into both of you." And they're like, so I gave in. I'm like, you know what? If you'll shut up, you'll get this goddamn temple, and then you shut up and go the hell away from me. Okay. So, so I'm starting the temple, and I'm in a real pissed off, bad mood. So it's starting to become this death war temple with the flaming door and everything. And I had set out a place for Lady Frigga, and she comes in, and she's looking around, and she goes, "This is not acceptable." She's like to Odin, she's like, "You shut up, and you shut up to Loki." And she says, "Come on, dear." And she had me fix it as a very holistic, healing, modern place. She goes, "It doesn't have to look like you're in the Viking era." And she's taking all the weapons out. She made this awesome healing place. And she was right. She said, "From now on, I want you to build these temples like we're living in this day and age. You don't have to build these old-timey temples. You could put 1 or 2 accents, but it doesn't have to look like we're living without modern conveniences." So Frigg laid the law down, and after Frigg did that, they seemed to calm down. But they were still being feisty. And Odin was still being at a certain desert guard, still being at him. I'm like, "What are you doing? I know he's one god of many. Will you calm down now? What is the matter with you?" Eh. And he never really gave me the real reason. I got everything from gods can get sad too, gods can get scared too, gods are scared of being replaced, they're scared that's going to be them, they think that if God comes into your life, you're going to forget about them. I looked at him and I said, "God is everywhere." I was raised Catholic. God is everywhere. There's nowhere I can run to get away from God. I just assume he doesn't mind me being with you, and so forth and so on because of those experiences I had. I said, "No, we've talked about this 9 billion bazillion times." I said, "I'm always going to talk to God occasionally, and I'm always going to talk to Jesus. It's not like I pray to God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost every single day of my life." I said, "But yeah, there are going to be times that I'm going to fall in hard times or fall in depression, and yeah, I'm going to talk to them, or I'm going to watch a cute Jesus song or something, or look at Jesus memes and be giggling." I said, "That's just part of my nature. You know that. Doesn't mean I don't love you." And he goes, "Well, no one makes me nice stuff like that." I said, "You like being scary. You're still Old Testament Jehovah. Once you get nice and you start baking cookies and loving everybody and everybody can get hugs from you, then they'll start doing stuff like that for you. Right now, you're a grumpy old man with anger management problems and a spear." So it was the damn weirdest thing. It was just, I don't know if he was actually jealous or it was a test. But after I got that pissed off with him and I was in VR today shooting my bow and arrow, he comes up, he toddles up to me. "I like you." "Uh-huh. I like you." "Shut up and move or I'll shoot you in the face because you can, move around with your bow and arrow." And he was in the way, but it was an option. And he was watching me. I was so pissed off at him last night. I went on the I know. I went on the roller coaster with the wolves and their wolf targets. And I was like, "Bye, Wolfie, boom!" And he was just like, "She's mad at me." And then today on Pinterest, since I think I told you this recording where we communicate through Pinterest, he said this t-shirt came up. I knew it was him. "My wife is fragile. Not like a My life is delicate. I'm sorry. My life is delicate, not like a flower, like a palm. He was like, I love you. You love me. I love you. I'm like, you're mental. I think he wanted to have a fight. I think Loki wanted to have a fight. I don't know what was going on with them. I don't know why Freya jumped in too. It was like Freya joins the battle. What? Why? They're my precious children. I said, sometimes I don't know if you're my gods or you're my children. I want to just, I don't know, send you all off to military camp. But they were so bad. And so what do you do when your gods drive you nuts? Don't do what I did. Don't lose your temper. It doesn't help. I mean, that was a healthy, normal human reaction. It's healthy to get mad at your gods. Tried to look it up this morning. I did. But there's no page out there that says what to happen when Odin starts a fight, Loki jumps in the middle, and Freya helps. That page doesn't exist. It was all what to do when you're mad at God. Remember that God's perfect, doesn't make mistakes. This is all your fault. Yeah, I don't think so. Or what to do when God has left you. And, they hadn't left. They were just being little shits. Realize that you have to redo your commitment to God because God is perfect. God never makes mistakes. The hell he don't. And I'm like, and Odin was just picking fights. I don't know if he's trying to help me out with my theology and doing it the worst way possible, or there's something else going on. There are a few personal things between us that he wanted to fight about, and he had to get it out of his system. I'll grant him that, but he really blew his top. And Loki joined in, and that kind of hurt more than anything that Loki took his brother's side, and then Freya took their side. And I'm like, but I'm your human, and they didn't care at that moment in time. I don't know, guys. I don't know what set them off. I've never really seen them get like this before, where they're open door and they're feeling compassion for all these gods because all these gods are getting attacked and not loved and they can't be worshipped. And then the next day they're psychotic and I don't love them. I'm like, I don't know what's going on with these gods. I don't know if it's a test, if I'm reaching an age where my energy is changing and it's just chafing them. Because I said to Odin, I said, I release every single one of you if you don't want to be here. You're not obligated by any bonds we have. And he wasn't going. He started something for reasons only Odin knows. I don't think it was just jealousy. I don't think it was just being territorial. I think it was something Odin gets into him with the relationship we have, where I don't know if he thinks I won't feel loved if he doesn't act competitive, because remember the God of the Roman Catholic Church, before they start teaching about him being loved, was very competitive, very possessive, very mine at every other god. So maybe he has it in the back of his head, he has to act like it. And I said, I never found that attractive in a god, you know that, right? And now it feels like he's calming down and he's going into this placid, peaceful thing. Only thing I can think of is that it's never a good idea to salute the war side of Odin too much, because that's actually what I think triggered this. When I had redone his one temple, I put it all for the war side of Odin. While war side of Odin showed up and he wanted to fight every fucking thing he saw, including me, and I'm like, Jesus, what's the matter with you? So yeah, I love him, I guess. Kind of. Like getting rid of them. But you have to find your own way to deal with it when, the gods disappoint you, or you have arguments, which, if you can perceive them at all, you're going to have arguments. And even if you can't, even if you just, not just, but even if you're praying every day or talking to them every day or whatever you do, and you get mad or disappointed or something, you have to find your own way to work it out. It was healthy what I did. It was a healthy, natural response because they were being vicious. But it probably wasn't my finest hour, but it was my temper. And then, I don't know why, but his son, that's the god of vengeance, came up, and it's like they have two Norse gods of vengeance, so I guess, like, from the Nordic point of view, they weren't even really mad. They were like, wow, you got a temper on you. I almost think Odin just wanted to fight. He's like, here, you fight with me. He didn't tell me what he was doing. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.